It's time to get your geek on with Dave Vermillion.
Hello and welcome to Get Your Geek On. This is Goose in for Dave because...
Dave's not here.
No, he is not. And we will explain where he is in just a little bit. And welcome to Get Your Geek On. Well, we will talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming. It's really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek's not what it was 10, 15, even as really 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very much in. Geek is now the mainstream, and if you have any doubt about that, check the box office. And we will be talking all that is geek right here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer and 9:30 a.m. TheAnswer.com. This, my friends, is Season 2, Episode 38, which, when you do the math, 52 plus 38 equals 90. We are 10 episodes away from episode 100, and then another 4 weeks from that, from our 2-year anniversary. That is awesome. We've only, wow, that's awesome. 14 weeks away from being this program being on the air for 2 years solid. Wow. So that is good stuff. Now, I can't do this alone. Just because, you know,
Dave's not here.
Doesn't mean I'm going to do this solo tonight. No. With me, joining me tonight is none other than the Grand Master, the Grand Poobah, the shining light of the Star Wars Society of San Antonio. He is our minion. He is Peter Gonzalez.
When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move.
I love that intro.
You're welcome. I did that just
Captain
for you
America,
today.
You know, and we have some Captain America news coming up later.
Yes, we do. And there's a reason we played that for Captain America. Now, of course, as you can see, if you are watching us on Facebook at facebook.com/GYGO Radio, Peter is wearing a Captain America t-shirt.
And a pin.
And a pin. Very good. And why does he do that? Well, we'll tell you here in just a moment. But first, we've got some show news to get over.
Oh, let's get right to it.
So, as you can tell, you hear just the two of us because Dave is actually in Seattle this weekend covering Emerald City Comic Con for Get Your Geek On. He's getting to know a whole bunch of people over there. He's getting to see things that, quite honestly, Peter and I can't see because we're here doing the program with you.
Yes.
So make sure you keep your browsers tuned to facebook.com/GYGO Radio, on Instagram at GYGO Radio, and on Twitter at GYGO_radio. And that way you get all the pictures and all the exclusives that Dave's going to be able to get while he is at he's at Emerald City Comic Con.
Emerald City.
I enjoy talking to Jerry Milani so much that I just say Wizard World sometimes, thinking he'll show up.
He just might walk in the door at some point. You never know. Things can happen.
Yes. Now, while Dave's out there enjoying the fun and he was planning for this trip, he made us aware of some things we want to bring to you.
Right.
A friend of the show, in fact, I think he did the first review with Dave when Star Wars, then The Force Awakens came out.
Right.
A friend of the show, Billy Ross, was in Florida, and he had a bad accident with a BMX bike. Last we heard, he was doing well. He's in ICU. But our thoughts and prayers go out to Billy Ross as well as Kevin Smith. For those of you who are unaware, on Sunday, I believe it was, Kevin Smith was filming a comedy special. He does stand-up comedy as well as directs great TV show and movies. And he, unfortunately, did suffer a heart attack with 100% blockage in his artery. Now, he is still with us, thank goodness. And he's done several Facebook Lives, keeping us, the fans, updated as well as his recovery goes. So, just keep those both, Billy Ross, who's a friend of the show, and Kevin Smith, who is basically a friend of all of us, in your thoughts and prayers.
Get well soon, guys.
Now, the great part is the Winter Olympics are over. The Winter Games are behind us, which means this was the week that all our geeky programming came back.
Yes.
Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, Black Lightning.
Black Lightning's back.
Arrow, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are all back this week.
Yes.
The only thing that's missing is Riverdale.
Yeah, and Supergirl.
And Supergirl. Well, Supergirl's... Gotham came back this week, too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it came back Thursday.
Woot.
So we are so happy about that. But before we get started, before we actually move on into the program, I want to let you know of our sponsor this half hour. Of course, that is our friends over at Laser Legend, located in the San Antonio area between 1604 between 35 and Lookout Road. These guys are amazing. They actually have a 2-story 5,000 square foot laser tag arena. And, you know, if you're like Dave, bring a sleeping bag because there's some great places to camp up there. A 3,000 square foot miniature glow golf little course there for you. 4,000 square foot arcade that includes Star Trek Pinball, Star Wars Battle Pod, the Batmobile Batman game, which is really fun.
And the Photon Torpedo.
And yes, their cafe includes the delicious Photon Torpedo, which you will want to try. So if you just are looking for a time to spend your day, or if you have an event that something that you need to plan for event for bringing a bunch of people, you will want to go to Laser Legend. They are actually owned and operated by an Air Force veteran, so that's something here in San Antonio that's a big deal. And you can find them online at laserlegend.com. Again, Laser Legend is a proud sponsor of Get Your Geek On. Now, something just came up this week that is related to Star Wars. So it's actually interesting involving the Solo movie. So let's talk a little Star Wars news, shall we?
I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
Now, as we all know, later on Monday, just 2 days from now, as we are doing this on Saturday night, we are just less than 40 hours away from the series finale of Star Wars Rebels. It's been 4 seasons, and it has taken us, from the beginning to almost to where Rogue One is. I believe they're even going to have a tie-in to Rogue One, which is great. But yeah, Star Wars Rebels series finale Monday night on Disney XD.
I'll be tuning in.
Yes. But one of the big issues was in the movies, we have the Solo movie coming out Memorial Day weekend. In fact, it is set to release May 25th, 2018. But with these anthology movies, a lot of times we're wondering, okay, where does this fit in the overall timeline of Star Wars? Rogue One was obvious.
Right.
But with Solo, it's not so obvious. So Del Rey, who is the publisher of Star Wars novels, actually came out and gave us when that timeline is for Solo. And it takes place about 11 to 14 years before A New Hope. So 11 to 14 years from the before Han and Chewie meet Obi-Wan and Luke and take off on that ill-fated mission to Alderaan. And so if you're a Star Wars novel fan, it's going to take place after Tarkin, but before Thrawn.
Thrawn.
Right. And Thrawn was actually written by Timothy Zahn, who actually is the creator of Grand Admiral Thrawn. So that's neat.
Yeah, at some point, hopefully that'll explain at some point, hopefully Han's going to get a deeper voice and somehow grow about a foot. Because, Alden Ehrenreich is... So you're saying he'll actually go through puberty? Hopefully
he'll
start sounding more like Harrison Ford.
No one can sound like Harrison Ford, sir.
I did my best, so I'm sorry. That's about the best as I can do. That's about it there, kid.
Oh, goodness gracious. And then in a year after that, in 2019, of course, we have Episode 9.
Well, hey, it's okay. Han's not in that one either.
Now, did you see one of the fan theories that came out about Episode 9?
What was that?
J.J. Abrams may use time travel to fix Episode 8.
Why? Hey, I'm going to do the Nancy Kerrigan. Why? Sorry. Had to get Nancy Kerrigan there.
Again, that's just a fan theory at this point. Film hasn't even gone into real production yet, I don't think.
I like what Mike Quinn said when we had him on the show.
Yeah.
When people started coming up with all kinds of theories. Because since he's worked on these movies before, they look at everybody who's on the crew and in the cast, they look at a lot of the stuff and they're like, y'all are so far off. I mean, look at all the theories that they were looking at with what was going to happen with Rey and Luke. And that just pretty much went the way of Mace Windu and out the window. And, down the toilet for all we know there. But
you had to go to the Mace Windu out the window thing, didn't you?
Yeah, at least it was not the Mace Windu bug zapper joke I was going to make later. But that's okay.
Now, speaking of Mace Windu, of course, he is part of our March Madness tournament, which we will get to in the second half of the program. But we still got more news to talk about. This one is related to Marvel. So let's talk a little Marvel news now, shall we?
This is that sequel to the smash hit, no equal. This one's for the true fans with Hulk hands and action figures. Flying, dining.
So earlier in the program, you heard me intro Peter with a actual voicing of a speech that Captain America gave to Spider-Man during the Marvel's event Civil War that took place in 2006.
Right.
Now, Pete, why did I give you that intro today?
Because it was cool. No, actually,
Well, yes, it's very cool.
Well, as we tape this on here on Thursday night, it's because, well, Thursday is Captain America's 77th anniversary, his birthday.
Very
and
nice.
I wrote up a neat little thing, created by Joe Simon, Jack Kirby, two Jewish guys who saw what was going on in Europe, didn't like it. And remember, at the time, we weren't even in the war at this point.
So this was
1941.
Yeah, we were in the war in 41.
Yeah, not till December.
Yeah, that's
He came
true.
out like around
true.
March or something. Yeah, in March. And,
Yeah.
So he was fighting the Nazis before we even got involved. And in that first issue, you see him, hitting Hitler, and it's like, this caused controversy at the time. Because Hitler, well, head of state, and it really upset quite a few the American members of the American Nazi Party and a few isolationists at the time. But he went on, and he became the legend that he was. So happy birthday to you, Captain America.
And we have a little bit of Captain America paraphernalia with us in the studio.
Yes,
For those
we do.
on
I have my
Facebook,
shield.
we have
My shield.
we have the Captain America shield that we're lowered just a little bit.
There you go.
That he actually, when Peter actually dresses up as World War II Captain America, he actually uses that shield as part of his cosplay, which is really neat.
There we go.
And next month is Superman's 80th birthday.
Oh, we got to do something big for that.
Oh, we're going to do something big
80
for that.
for Superman?
80 for Superman.
We definitely got to do
Action
something for
Comics
that.
#1 debuted in
my
1938.
God.
And this is going to be
80.
Action 1000.
Oh my God.
But that's coming up next month. We're
Yeah,
not worried about that
we're
right
about
now.
that. You gotta,
But, there's other stuff that involves Captain America, believe it or not,
Yes.
and that is Marvel's Avengers Infinity War,
This is-
originally slated for a May 4th.
yeah, this is breaking news.
Originally slated for a May 4th release date, actually got pulled back to April 27th, 1 week early, because they don't. I guess they didn't want to. They felt that May the 4th was more Star Wars related, maybe.
That and plus, I think that too. At the same time, you're gonna have Deadpool coming out that
Yes.
month. You're gonna have Solo coming out
Yes.
that month, and I have a feeling they didn't want them to overlap each other.
Right.
But at the same time, it was like, well, they own it already. So, but at the same time,
So the summer movie season now begins in April.
now in April, just right after Fiesta. For those of you who don't know what Fiesta is, Google it.
San
we'll talk
Antonio
about it.
Fiesta. So we do that. Now, speaking of box office, of course, Black Panther is reigning supreme at the box office in its second week. Now, here's the interesting part. Box Office Mojo, when I did this research, only had through the 27th of February. Black Panther worldwide gross, $750 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's in what, 10, 11 days?
And the big thing is, we were talking about this, right before we went on the air. The big thing is going to be seeing how well it's going to do this weekend, the week after next, because spring break.
Right. And well, even that whole week could be craziness.
It's going to be amazing.
But at $750 million in less than 2 weeks, that makes it already the 18th highest grossing superhero movie of all time.
And people are going nuts, because I haven't heard one of my students, one of our more colorful students, he was walking around saying, I'm Black Panther. And it's like, nah, you're more like Killmonger, kid. But that's another story I'll have to get into at some other point. PM me and I'll give you the info.
I was not going to actually bring this up, but since you brought up Killmonger,
Right.
there has been, now with Michael B. Jordan redeeming himself from Fantastic Four,
Major redemption.
not just with Creed, but now with Black Panther as well. There's been some internet buzz about, him playing a part in any Dragon Ball Z live action film that they decide to conjure up.
Really?
Now, with all the characters of Dragon Ball Z, your mind could go anywhere, but the internet community actually wants him to play Vegeta.
Vegeta.
Well, if you look at that Killmonger outfit,
Yeah.
you look side by side with Vegeta,
Oh,
it actually works out pretty well.
It's funny. When the first time I saw Vegeta, I was thinking fajita. Sorry, it's the Mexican in me, but. And then plus, I need to go to Taco Bell
Well,
later.
if you go to Seattle, I know who can get you some vegetarian fajitas.
Those don't count. No, that's just blasphemy. Straight up blasphemy. There's vegetarian Mexican food. That's Kaylee, we need to talk, okay? I'm sorry. I know you're watching, but no, that's just blasphemy. Unless it's bean and cheese tacos, that doesn't count. So.
Oh, it doesn't? Bean and cheese tacos doesn't count?
Well, it counts, but it's only that counts as vegetarian Mexican food.
Okay.
Vegetarian tacos. That vegan tacos, no. No.
All right. Speaking of Marvel movies, the Tessa Thompson, who played Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok, had this to say about what's coming up in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Quote, I think what we're seeing, regardless of a Lady Liberator or an A-Force movie or female ensemble Marvel movie, is that in Phase 4, women rule supreme. We're seeing a Black Widow movie in the works, which I hear about and is so exciting. Captain Marvel.
I'm dying to see something like that because
we've been wanting that since Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
For 2010, we've been asking, okay, Black Widow movie.
Well, yes, we need that. We got that Red Sparrow thing coming out, but it's like, okay, it's Black Widow, but it's just not Scarlett Johansson. It's Jennifer Lawrence. It kind of works, but oh well. But yeah.
Captain Marvel with Brie Larson and DeWanda Wise, which I'm looking forward to that. I really want a good Captain Marvel movie.
Right. And I did get to see Brie Larson during the Christmas break. I saw her in Skull Island, and I was like, okay, she's looks great. I think she can pull this off. Yeah. She also looks great, but that's besides the point. But yeah.
Now, quote, what we're seeing is that women are at the forefront of these stories, and of course with Black Panther, those incredible warrior women in that film. Yeah, don't mess with Wakandan women. It's just not. You're not going to end up on a good side of that.
You're going to end up, face down. There's going to be two hits. Them hitting you, and you hitting the ground and picking up teeth.
But see, Marvel, I think right now is a little bit behind the curve because with DC, we've seen Wonder Woman, the first actual female-led superhero movie.
Right.
Marvel hasn't done that yet. Yes, they had a woman who played an integral role beginning with Iron Man 2, that being Scarlett Johansson in Black Widow.
Right.
And she's been in every Avengers-esque movie since.
Right.
She's been there, and it's been a female influence, which was great. I mean, she's the one who calms the Hulk down, who tried to talk sense into Steve. So she's
like an emotional anchor.
She is an emotional anchor for the team. She's almost like the heart of the team in many ways.
I don't know speaking of which, I don't know if you saw that one Netflix. Oh, I saw it on Netflix. It was Black Widow with Punisher.
I have not seen that.
That was good. It gave her a lot of depth.
And that's a Marvel animated movie on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw that at one point last summer. It's like, whoa, I never pictured that about Black Widow. And at the same time, Black Widow and Punisher? That's only on a Marvel animated thing, but we'd love to see that at some point. Hopefully Punisher making an appearance somewhere in the MCU.
Yeah, he did. He has a series on Netflix.
Well, I mean, at some point in the movies or something like that.
But I mean, the Netflix series are still part of the MCU, the grander part of the MCU that includes Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which returned Friday night. Now, interesting news about that, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been on the bubble for a while now. Last season, there were thoughts that it might get canceled. This season, those words are even more true because the ratings are down for that. So the producers of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are actually writing the season finale as if it could actually be the series finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
Of course, the main character there, Agent Coulson, who's been around since Iron Man. Well, the very first Marvel movie.
Well, the funny thing is when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came in, I was all for it. I went to the Alamo City Comic Con. They had a viewing at one of the theaters. I was all into it. Like the first episode, this is good. And the first season was good. And after a while, you're like, okay, all right. So this guy's actually a Hydra agent. And after a while, I just got bored, and I just stopped watching. I mean, that's the weird thing is when it comes to the cinema universe. Yeah, Marvel's doing great, but on the TV side, But on the flip side of that, DC movies, DCEU, could be doing better. We're not getting into Suicide Squad. But on the small screen, when it comes to the Arrowverse, they're just, kicking it and just taking names. They own the small screen.
Well, you realize when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out, it was one half of all the comic book properties on television at the time.
Right.
At least on network television.
Right.
Yeah, Arrow, which was in season 2.
Yeah.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
And that was it.
Yeah, but now they're all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Now you can't actually turn a channel. Well, you can, 2 of them.
Right.
Because I don't think NBC has one and CBS doesn't have one.
Well, that Supergirl was on CBS, and it just did terrible there. And it just belongs on CW.
Well, it didn't do terrible. It did enough, but it didn't do enough for CBS.
And she belongs on with...
It'd have been a big hit on CW had gotten those same ratings numbers.
Right. And at the same time, it was like, okay, she belongs in the Arrowverse.
Right. Yeah. Now, we've been talking a lot of DC television, so let's go ahead and talk some DC news.
Oh, we got some interesting news in that.
Shall we?
We shall.
Now, we've been talking how the DC TV universe, especially that on the CW, is doing really well. Is actually kicking on all cylinders. They've had 2 great crossovers year after year. They've had some great character development across all the programs. Flash is getting a little...
What?
But, outside of that, everything's doing good. But the DCEU, not so much.
Right.
There has been talk about Emma Stone being in Wonder Woman 2 as the main villain. That would be Cheetah.
That's weird because she's a Wonder Woman villain.
Cheetah is a but Emma Stone would be there as a Wonder Woman villain.
That's just weird.
Yeah. So, but she unfortunately has passed on that role.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was
Not
like,
confirmed, but
oh.
from several different sites on the internet that Emma Stone was up for Cheetah, but actually declined the role.
Why?
Well, maybe she doesn't want to be in DCU. Maybe there's another film that she feels she would be better suited for. I know there's a film that I feel she'd be suited for.
Which would be
We'll
what?
talk about that here in a moment.
Okay.
But all is not lost because in the same week that Emma Stone said no, there has been other rumors that Kristen Wiig of Saturday Night Live will be Cheetah
Okay.
in the film.
All right.
So that's going to be exciting.
That could be an interesting.
Kristen Wiig on SNL did so many characters, some which were funny, some which were not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just true of Saturday Night Live in general.
Go figure. But yeah.
But I honestly think that given how Cheetah is supposed to be outrageous and just over the top, I think Kristen Wiig can actually pull that one off.
Quite possibly. I mean, is she going to wear this, the cheetah outfit with a little hoodie and the ears and stuff, or?
Well, they could actually do like they do in the comics and actually make her look like a cheetah, kind of like green screen type stuff or stop motion capture stuff.
Okay, that could work.
So that would be nice. Now, I said that I thought Emma Stone would be good for a different role, and of course, I believe that role to be Batgirl.
Yes, yeah, and I could see her in that part as a much older, more mature Barbara Gordon. I can see her do. She's got the red hair. She could pull it off. She's like in her late 20s, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, and if Lindsay Lohan's meltdown has Emma Stone should just thank for that.
Yeah, thank you for that. But
now, the problem is with Batgirl, as we talked about last week, Joss Whedon left the project thinking he didn't have a story to tell. That's what he said. But reports have come out that maybe that wasn't the complete story. With Wonder Woman doing so well, and we're in the time that we're in. There's been rumors that Warner Brothers was actually wanting a female director to direct a female-led movie. Now, don't get me wrong. Just give me a good movie. I don't care who directs it, to be quite honest with you. I want a good, solid DC movie. That's all I really want out of my DC movies is a good, solid, good storytelling. Something that would give Rotten Tomatoes maybe they'd give it like a 50.
We hope.
At this point, I'm okay with that. I don't care about the gender of the director, the producer, the casting director. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
just give me a good film. That's all I really want.
I like what Kristen Powers says right up over here on the chat. Emma Stone would make a great Poison Ivy.
She would make a great Poison Ivy, and I am all down for that. I love Poison Ivy.
But you got to do her right. Unlike, don't get me wrong, I loved Uma Thurman. I mean, I like
you
her
were the only one.
But I like her in a lot of different things. But she was doing Mae West. She was channeling Mae West for some odd reason, and she's not the overly, over the top character that she is. Poison Ivy is an eco-terrorist.
Yeah. Now, as we talked about,
she's an anti-hero.
Joss Whedon left Batgirl because he didn't have a story to tell. So that means right now the project is in limbo.
Development hell.
Yeah, and also reports came out that if Warner Brothers, at the time Warner Brothers AT&T merger does not go through, Warner may just sell off Warner Brothers by itself, which could include DC Comics.
The thing is, when it comes to DC, I mean, it can be done. They can make a good movie. Wonder Woman, just perfect example of it. People were a little nervous about it. They didn't think that Gal Gadot could pull it off. I always had high hopes for Gal. I was like, give her a chance. Okay, she's a little skinny on the skinny side, but she really worked out and put on some muscle and lost weight and gained weight, actually gained muscle. So yeah, a good DC movie is possible.
So stick around, folks, because when we come back, it's time to embrace the madness. March Madness, round 1. Who won? Who lost? Who continues on to the round of 32? And who will they face? We'll find all that out and more when Get Your Geek On returns right here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. So how'd that first half work for you, Peter?
I had fun.
Great. And, of course, if you missed any of that, you want to catch up on, of course, we have our Facebook videos at facebook.com/GYGO Radio. But you can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and other platforms to come, of course, on 9:30 a.m. theanswer.com as well. Of course, if you want to be a part of the program, every week we do this show live on Facebook Live at facebook.com/GYGO Radio. And you can join us like Philip and Brian and Lori and Joey and Alan and Derek. So many others that join us each and every week. So you want to make sure to be a part of the show that was voted #1 podcast in all of San Antonio, because all of our programs are archived in podcast form to deliver out on the masses on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and more coming soon. So it's the moment we've been waiting for, everybody.
Here we go.
Since last week, since the polls opened on March Madness, we wondered who would survive. We have our first round, so let the madness begin. Yes, we start off with 64 every week. We cut it in half till finally there was just but one remaining. So we start with 64 over 4 brackets: DC, Marvel, Star Wars, and video gaming. And to start us off tonight, we're going to begin with the Star Wars bracket, and that is going to go to none other than Mr. Peter Gonzalez.
All right, here we go. We have our Star Wars news. Here we go. All right, so for the first one, it was for the first round, Luke told Chewbacca, sorry, the Wookiee's not going to win. So Luke took out Chewbacca. Oh, next one up over there, we had Darth Sidious going over Jango. And what can I say about just Jango lost his head? Darth Sidious goes on to the second round. Okay. Yoda pretty much owned Kylo Ren. And Kylo Ren go up in and cried in the corner. All right. Next up over here, we have Obi-Wan going on against Rey. And yes, Obi-Wan took Rey out. As expected, Vader easily took out Ezra with just a simple force choke and saying, nah, you're not going to time travel your way out of this one, kid. Yeah, okay. Next up was Mace going over General Grievous, and he just said this party was over and just dismantled General Grievous. Now, the one that I was looking forward to is because this could have gone either way. But, since y'all, made your voices heard, Anakin took out Darth Maul. That one was cool because at the same time he told Darth Maul, yeah, I'm the chosen one. And basically Darth Maul is now beside himself, literally, because he's been dismembered. And all right, never mind. And in a surprise vote up over here, we have Ahsoka. Ahsoka making her first appearance over here in March Madness. And she took out Darth Tyrannus, a.k.a. Count Dooku. She took him out. She did what Anakin didn't get a chance to do in Clone Wars. She took him out. Way to go, Ahsoka. Now, Ahsoka is going on to the second round.
And who's she facing in the second round?
Okay, here we go for round 2. So we have Ahsoka going against our #1 seed, Luke Skywalker. That's gonna be an interesting thing. And keep in mind, these are our characters in their prime. This isn't whiny Jedi Luke. This isn't, I just came here to die, Luke. This is Luke in his prime. Next up, we're gonna have it's Master versus Apprentice. It's Darth Sidious versus Anakin. That's going to be great. And rematch, Vader versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. So here we go. Could Vader take it again?
Yeah. Or could
Obi-Wan just say, you know what? I have the high ground. I'm going to take you out because I'm in my prime now. Okay. And finally, it's going to be Battle of the Masters. It's Mace Windu versus Yoda.
So again, round 2 is Luke versus Ahsoka, Sidious versus Anakin, Vader versus Kenobi, and Mace Windu versus Yoda. Polls are open right now on the Facebook page of Get Your Geek On. And so that's mean I get the video game bracket. All right. So round 1, Sephiroth beat out this Mario annoyance that is Bowser. The little pink guy Kirby beats out Master Chief.
Oh, he just ate him alive.
Tracer can't turn back time as she loses to Oni. Atheros beats Seamus Aran, which there was a fight over that one. Number 12, this is something that's interesting. Number 12, Cloud Strife beats number 5, Kerrigan. That was the biggest upset so far in this tournament.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Cloud Strife comes in. Cloud, of course, being the main protagonist from Final Fantasy VII. Dante shows up over Sonic, who just wasn't fast enough this time. And then, no surprise, Link from Legend of Zelda beats his primary antagonist. That would be Ganondorf. And Mega Man over Kefka. So that...
Who's up for round 2?
Round 2, we've got Sephiroth versus Mega Man. Ooh. That's going to be an interesting one. Link versus Kirby, which actually would be one I would pay to see, believe it or not. Cloud Strife versus Arthurus, and Dante versus Oni. Ooh. Dante, of course, from Devil May Cry. So he could be crying by the time this second round is over. Again, Sephiroth versus Mega Man, Link versus Kirby, Cloud Strife versus Arthas, and Dante versus Oni. That is the second round of the video game bracket in March Madness. So from there, we go back to Minion, who gives us our Marvel matchups for this week.
And cue that music. Here we go. All right, so for this round, so here we go for not round 2, but just regular round up here. We had Thor over Venom. Well, what happened was Venom slipped over his own slobber, and then Thor just took him out from there. All right, then we had Jean Grey going against Iron Man, and well, as much as Iron Man laid on the charm, he couldn't get past Jean Grey because she just fried his brain. All right, and next up we had Apocalypse going against Wolverine, and Wolverine said, "I'm the best I am at what I do," and Apocalypse said, "I'm the first mutant," and he basically did something with Wolverine and put his head where the sun don't shine. Anyways, next up we had Thanos going against Spider-Man, and as much as a crowd favorite as Spider-Man is, the itsy spider could not go up the water spout, and Thanos just crushed him. I think he threw a planet at him or something, just basically smashed him, and never mind. All right. Next up we had Silver Surfer going against Captain America, and, well, the Surfer beat Cap. I mean, it pains me to see this because I'm wearing my Captain America shirt, but Cap, you'll always have our heart, and we at least gave you a good happy birthday up over here, courtesy of Get Your Geek On, but Silver Surfer goes to the next round. Next up we had Magneto versus Dr. Doom. Now, this could have gone either way, but Magneto, being the master of magnetism, told Dr. Doom, "I've got the more powerful franchise, get out of here, Dr. Doom." Then we had Hulk versus Doctor Strange. Hulk said smash, Hulk smash, and Doctor Strange basically turned him into a kitten and put him in another parallel universe. And finally we had Vision over Rogue. And my friend Jenny Lee Cosplay, who does a great Rogue, I know she's going to be heartbroken over this, but then again, it's Vision. All right. So, yep. So going on to the next round up over here, here's who we got. For this next round, we're going to have the God of Thunder going against Vision. Thor versus Vision in the second round. Next up, oh, this is going to be awesome. Jean Grey versus the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, this is his first appearance in March Madness, and he's doing pretty well so far. All right, now this one's going to be good. For this next one, this is going to be Apocalypse, the first mutant, versus Magneto. So you're going to have the battle of the two X-Men villains that are going to go at it. Who wins? That's up to y'all. That's when y'all going to go up there and put yourself in the bracket. Go ahead and make sure y'all vote because we're going to need it. Next up, we're going to have the Mad Titan himself, Thanos, who's going to go against the Herald of Galactus, the Silver Surfer. So round 2 goes, it's Thor versus Vision, Jean Grey versus Doctor Strange, Apocalypse versus Magneto, and Thanos versus Silver Surfer.
Oh, goodness. So that's actually going to be a great round there. Don't forget to make your voice heard and vote beginning right now. Dave is watching us from Seattle.
Hi, Dave. What'd you bring us?
So, Dave, appreciate that because as we've talked about the whole show,
Dave's not here.
Because he is enjoying Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle. Hold on. We've got one more bracket to go. That is our DC bracket. So, in the first round, we've got Superman, who was just a little too fast for the Flash. Darkseid's Omega Beams took out the Cyborg, the Titan Cyborg. in a sad memory of Nightfall, Doomsday beats out Batman.
Can I interject real quick?
Of course.
Batman just said, "I'm Batman." Doomsday just said, "Splat," and that was the end of that. Sorry, Batman, you're out. Doomsday just went honey badger on him.
Unfortunately, if Doomsday and Bane had a conversation, Batman and Darth Maul shared a fate.
Right.
Unfortunately. Wonder Woman beat out Firestorm.
Ooh.
Martian Manhunter, John Johns himself, took out the rogue Green Lantern Sinestro. Green Lantern's will actually beat out the brain of the Kaluan as he ends up over Brainiac. Black Adam in an upset. Marvel had no upsets.
No.
Not one.
No.
But DC had an upset as well as Black Adam turned up over Aquaman, and Supergirl, the Mistress of Steel, beat out Shazam.
That was surprising.
Otherwise known, quite honestly, as the DC's version of Captain Marvel.
Right.
And we're going to talk about that here in a moment after we get done with the brackets. So again, Superman over Flash, Darkseid over Cyborg, Doomsday comes out over Batman, Wonder Woman beats Firestorm, Martian Manhunter just gets a little bit ahead of Sinestro, Green Lantern over Brainiac, Black Adam toasts Aquaman, and Supergirl beats out Shazam. So you're round two. We have the Clash of the Kryptonians.
Oh.
Superman versus Supergirl.
Ooh.
Yep. Now this one's going to be interesting. Black Adam versus Darkseid. Will the power of the gods win out the old gods, or will the Omega beam of the new gods reign supreme on that one? Martian Manhunter versus Wonder Woman.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. The Justice League colleagues clash in a round two battle of the Geeky March Madness. And to finish it out, it's Green Lantern versus Doomsday. Now, we've seen how Guy Gardner in Doomsday got along in the Death of Superman storyline.
Yeah, that didn't end well.
We've seen how Green Lantern and the Cyborg Superman and Mongol got along, and that was in The Return of Superman. But I don't think Hal Jordan, because this is the Green Lantern we're talking about, Hal Jordan and Doomsday have never had it out. What will happen?
They've never met.
They've never met.
They should go out for a coffee and tea.
And unfortunately, we are having a contest at getyourgeekon.org. Unfortunately, we don't have the user scores here with us because we were not provided that information, and we don't have the kind of access to the site needed to get that information. So we will either do Facebook Live next week, a special one, or we'll mention it in the program.
Okay. So, okay. Well, should we go over our own personal predictions for this?
Sure. Who do you see winning in the second round?
Okay. For the Star Wars bracket, I'm looking at Luke versus Ahsoka. Now,
yes.
Ahsoka, hey, she wields two lightsabers, but at the same time, she's going against Luke Skywalker.
But she also went against Darth Vader and didn't do so well.
Yeah, but at the same time, now she's going against, Jedi Master Luke.
Mm-hmm.
So I as much as I love Ahsoka, I'm gonna say Luke may win this one. Now, in the terms for the second round up over Sidious versus Anakin, Darth Sidious, knew that Anakin was powerful, and
right.
that's why But as soon as he got into the Vader suit, he kind of kept him in a lot of pain. So
yeah,
Vader was still powerful, but he couldn't take out Sidious. Now, if we're looking at Anakin minus the suit,
so we're looking at Episode 3 Anakin or Clone Wars Anakin?
I'm going to say Episode 3.
Episode 3 Anakin?
Yeah,
okay.
Anakin in his prime. I think Sidious is toast. That's
all
just
right.
me. Okay. Now, if we're looking at Vader versus Obi-Wan.
And again, we're talking around Episode 3 Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes. Anakin in his prime versus Vader in his prime. Like Rogue One Vader.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dang.
God, this is a tough one. It's hard to say because this, in my opinion, this could go either way. Now, for the next one up over Mace versus Yoda.
I've seen Episode 2. I see what the little miniature Muppet can do.
Yeah, but at the same time, Mace is pretty powerful with that Shatterpoint and everything. I'm not sure if they're using Shatterpoint now with the whole DC.
I don't know. Yoda bested Sidious, and Sidious threw Mace out the window.
Yeah, true.
Or out the window.
Hey, But I might have to give this one to Yoda. That's just my
give
personal
it to Yoda?
preference,
Okay, so you did Star Wars. I'm going to do my picks for DC, quite honestly, because if you are watching the Facebook Live, we actually have a pseudo backdrop. I actually took comics in my bags and boards and put them on the wall, so that way it wasn't just a gray carpet.
Right.
So hopefully y'all are enjoying that. There were comics from this week and last week that I purchased. So in this one, the Clash of the Kryptonians, I'm kind of on the fence on that one because I know both of them could take the other one out.
Right.
If the other one held back just a little bit.
You know who I think is going to win?
Supergirl?
The one who has super in the name.
Way to be non-committal there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, right. So Black Adam versus Darkseid.
Oh, man.
Dang. I honestly think Darkseid could take him out in an actual fight.
I think so, because he's Darkseid, and, he's just mean, mad, bad, and dangerous to know.
Yeah. Martian Manhunter versus Wonder Woman.
I have to give it to Wonder Woman.
I don't know, because with the telepathy, the shape-shifting, the density control that Jean has, and also the range powers with the laser vision.
Right. But I picked Wonder Woman on this one because, well, that's my girl, and I've had a crush on her ever since Linda Carter. And who hasn't had a crush on Linda Carter? And, now it equally extends out to Gal Gadot. And,
well,
there you go.
let's face it, Linda Carter was everybody's first.
Wonder Woman!
So that was that.
I still got to I'm going to go with Wonder Woman. That's my gal. She's my pick to win it all for the DC bracket.
Oh, really? So she's going to go up against, who do you think she's going to go up against in Marvel?
Ooh. I'd like to see her and Thor.
Her and Thor? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, probably Green Lantern versus Doomsday.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go with Green Lantern on that one.
Really? How do you figure?
The ring and the constructs.
Well, then again, when Doomsday made when he actually first appeared, billion somewhat years ago, it took all the Green Lanterns to take him out. But at the same time, it's Hal.
But it wasn't Hal Jordan.
It's
Hal Jordan created his own ring out of his will.
That's at the same time. It is
gracious.
Hal. This is Hal. You never know. But then again, okay, in the next round, would Hal go against Green Lantern? I mean, would Hal go against Wonder Woman?
I'd have to look and see how that matches up.
Because I'm kind of wondering, would Hal end up going against Wonder Woman?
I don't have a computer that I can access right now.
Yeah, true. Okay.
But that's okay. And so keep new because we'll have these results actually next week. Right here on the program, and hopefully we might actually be able to talk about who's in the lead.
Yeah.
In our Geeky March Madness, because there's over $1,000 in prizes available from our friends like the Dallas Fuel, part of the Overwatch League, and of course our great sponsor Laser Legend here in San Antonio. In fact, there's even some San Antonio specific prizes that are part of that. Now, of course, registration's closed, so hopefully you got your bracket in. Of course, if you didn't, you can still join us and you can still have your voice heard because we are opening these polls up to the general public at facebook.com/GYGO radio. Now,
and if you happen to be out of town and you win one of the prizes, don't forget we can mail it to you free of charge.
Yeah, of course, we ship worldwide, absolutely free to you through our friends over at the Mailing Spot. So we want to make sure that you are taken care of in that instance. So if you don't live in San Antonio and you win, of course, we will ship to you worldwide absolutely free, courtesy of our friends over at the Mailing Spot.
All right, do we have time to cover the predictions for the Marvel bracket?
Of course.
All right, here we go. All right, in my opinion, Thor versus Vision. Oh, I actually looked this up, and and I think Thor is going to take Vision. I think so. I mean, because I was looking at some of the models and looking at some of the online chats and stuff like that, and they agree. The one I'm kind of stuck on is Jean Grey versus Doctor Strange. That could go either way.
It could.
Yeah, because at the same time, you have as powerful of a psychic as Jean is going against not just a sorcerer, but a sorcerer supreme.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that's tough. But as for Apocalypse versus Magneto, I have to go with Apocalypse on this one.
Yeah.
He's the first mutant.
How about Thanos versus Silver Surfer?
I'm going to go Thanos.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm pretty sure Silver Surfer could easily put up a good fight.
So the Herald of Galactus goes down to the Mad Titan.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay.
Or are we doing Thanos without the Gauntlet?
Thanos without the Gauntlet.
Ooh. Okay, I still give it up to Thanos.
I'm just saying Thanos without the Gauntlet. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. But that's my picks for that one.
If Mark Hamill actually sent a tweet that said Ashoka won, then would win, then that's a different issue.
That's true,
And how we got to that was in our chat. Brian, not me, said Luke Skywalker just sent a tweet. It said Ashoka. So if Mark Hamill actually sent that tweet, that means he forfeits the round, in my opinion.
Well, I like what Derek Brown up over here said. If it's Hal Jordan in his prime, then as Parallax, you take out everyone.
There you go.
That'll work. That's a scary thought there,
Now, one thing I don't know if it's the major two comic providers trolling us or they're trolling each other, because in the last 2 weeks, there has been something interesting that has happened in both Marvel Comics and DC Comics.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that.
Last week in Marvel's Infinity Countdown, it talked about how each Captain Marvel from each reality had found one of the Infinity Stones for that universe. I believe it was the Reality Stone.
Right.
They showed Carol Danvers, who is the Earth 616 Captain Marvel. They showed a different Captain Marvel who I was unfamiliar with.
Right.
I was unfamiliar with. They showed Marvel in another universe, and then they showed just about a little bit of a panel that kind of looked like a recolored Captain Marvel Jr.
Yeah, you were showing me that.
It's very interesting. Of course, as you know, before there was Marvel, there was Captain Marvel, part of the Captain Marvel family, who we now know as Shazam.
Right.
With Zachary Levi playing him in the upcoming DCEU movie Shazam. And then this week, in Action Comics 998, 2 issues away from 1,000. It's a story called Booster Shot with Booster Gold and Superman. And Booster called Skeets, his robot companion, Alfred. That's right. And in fact, I had that comic somewhere. Where'd it go? No, it shouldn't be up there. Yeah. But anyway, so Skeet said, I don't like it when you call me Alfred. Booster said something along the lines of, well, at least I didn't call you Jarvis. Whole other timeline. So Booster is aware of Jarvis in the Marvel Universe. So it makes them sound like they are actually just alternate universe, part of each other's multiverse, actually, in that regard. So what do you think about that, Pete?
I was like, well, I've been doing with my action figure theater thing, and I totally take continuity out of the window, and I have everybody interacting and mingling. And I mean, for my latest episode, I had the kids from Stranger Kids showing up, and with
Stranger Things
are showing up, and the Demogorgons being taken out by everybody from Ray to Thanos to but Ray, Thor, Wonder Woman, Deadpool. They all took out the Demogorgon at one point.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So we only have a little bit of time left this evening, and we don't want to leave you this week without going over both our hero and zero of the week. But first, we want to, of course, lead off with something good, and we talk about our hero. And for that, we go back to our minion, Mr. Peter Gonzalez.
Yes, because our hero of the week is, of course, since we tape on Thursdays, it is Captain America, and because he is everything not only that America stands for, truth, justice, and the American way, but also he's always going to do what's the right thing. He has this heart that that'll just keep going. He's always going to be on the right side. It might not even be the more popular side, as we saw in Civil War, both the comic book and the movie, but he's always going to do the right thing.
And of course, we're talking about Steve Rogers.
Yes, and he's even said anybody can be Captain America.
Of course, I agree we should actually have a DC versus Comics crossover again. Mm-hmm. Those are fun when they do that.
Yes.
But I think in a highly competitive nature, we can't do that. Speaking of DC characters and highly competitive.
Yes.
This goes to we go now to our zero of the week.
Yeah.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
And because Peter has had experience with this zero of our week, I'm going to let him take this one as well.
Yeah, that would be the Batman of San Antonio. I had worked with this guy and it seemed like a pretty good person at the time, but then I started, when I heard it from different cosplayers, he had done things like charge people even when he would go to children's hospitals, and you just don't do stuff like that. And I've even heard from different organizations that he had been a part of but later kicked out of, where he had they said it was going to be he wasn't going to charge people for a birthday party, but as soon as everybody had done their entertained the kids and everybody went back, he charged some of the people money, and that's just stuff that you don't do. That's just stuff you just don't do. That's just wrong, because a lot of the cosplayers who are out there, the ones that I know of, they're doing it for the right reasons. They'll go out there, they do the hospital visits, they raise money for charities, they visit the schools for anti-bullying. They do a lot of these wonderful things, and that's what true cosplaying is really about. Like this one particular individual who is just mainly out to try to line his own pockets. And that's just wrong. Wrong. Just terrible. Yes, no.
So I'm guessing you don't charge when you and the Star Wars Society of San Antonio
Oh,
goes
we
out
never
there.
do. We never do these things. It's because it's, well, you know, we do it out of love, and at the same time, since Star Wars is not owned by Disney, yeah, Disney's got a lot of lawyers.
Well, and we don't want to mess with lawyers. Well, we want to, of course, thank Dave for allowing us to do the show in his absence. Let us pilot the ship. Of course, we wish him safe travels as he makes his way back from Seattle and Emerald City Comic Con. We will be back here, or at least most of us will be back here next week on 9:30 a.m. The Answer and 9:30amtheanswer.com, where we will help you get your geek on. Good night, everybody.
Laters.